All righty. Well, here we are again, Joyce, and welcome to another, hopefully rollicking edition of What's Good with John and Joyce. Subscribe on YouTube, wherever you can. Share it with a friend who needs good news, uplifting stories, no negativity, no politics. I'm John Cadillac Seville from iHeartRadio, and to my left I have my buddy. Logan. I love her.
And I love you too, John.
I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our sponsors. Woodwinds Wedding and Special Events Venue and Silvio Sauces, thewoodwinds.com. Ascend Bank. They don't just see your accounts, they see your vision and ambitions. Ascend.bank. Moonshots, a vegan-based company that delivers the highest quality organic juices, coffee, bowls, and so much more. Drinkmoonshots.com. And To Your Health, nutrition and health coaching, creating a lifestyle tailored just for you. ToYourHealth360.com. Linda Toscano of Caldwell Banker Realty in Guilford, Connecticut. With over 17 years of experience, Linda is known for her authentic, client-focused approach and expert guidance for buyers and sellers. Now, if you're thinking about making a move, Linda Toscano is someone you can trust. We're deeply grateful to all of our sponsors for their support and for partnering with us to uplift and enrich the lives of our listeners and viewers.
So we're talking about always what's good. So you just came back from the dentist?
I was over the dentist. And I'm one of these kind of freaky people that actually like the dentist. Because this guy's really cool.
Wait, you like
Dr. Dahl.
You like the dentist, but you also like the procedure?
Well, not so much that. But they have a really good bedside manner there, I'll say, Michelle and Dr. Dahl. But I went there yesterday to get a couple crowns. I mean, I've been crowned before, but not quite this way.
Wow. And I was just going to get into the bedside manner. I didn't know they had beds. If they have beds at your dentist, no wonder you like it. Yeah.
So a couple crowns, and it had some Novocaine, and I was thinking, I got a podcast to tape today, and it's going to be a talk like this, right? Radio shows to record, but luckily I'm able to speak today, be semi-coherent.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Right?
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you my Novocaine story?
And by the way, before we do that, let's give you an introduction.
Yes.
I call you Dr. B or Dr. Coops.
Dr. B is
Dr. B?
perfect. Yeah, Dr. B.
I saw her TED Talk recently that she did in Newport. It was so freaking good. She is just so real. Her story is so inspiring. She's become a very, very dear friend, too. But tell us your dentist or Novocaine
my
story
Novocaine
there.
story. So
Dr. Bridget Cooper, good to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you, John and Joyce. Thank you. Yeah, so I was probably, 7 or 8. I had believe it or not, a small mouth. Okay, listen. Only structurally, not symbolically. Okay. Anyway, so I had too many big teeth for my tiny little mouth. So they did a lot of interventions when I was young, trying to rip out teeth and orchestrate this whole orthodontic mission. And so one day I went to the dentist and they took out 4 lower teeth. So all of my front lower teeth, and had Novocaine.
At one time?
At one time. So lots of Novocaine, right? Yeah. And so I said to my mom, sitting in the back seat, I was like, Mommy, I want a soft serve ice cream. One of those like cones.
Sure.
And I loved getting them chocolate dipped. When they dipped it. Yeah, and it has the crust, right? Kept begging. My mom kept saying no, extras were not a thing in our world. And I kept begging. And finally she was like, fine. She pulls over and she gets the ice cream and she hands it back to me. And the entire ride home she had, and for those moms out there, you can identify with this, she had one of those I told you so moment as she looked in the back and just saw chocolate dripping down my face because I could not manage to even break the crust because I didn't have any structure and I had gauze or whatever. And my mom was like, and so we got home and I'd throw the whole thing away because it was like melted and I was just
I
a
told
chocolate
you
mess.
so.
Exactly. Right. But she didn't even say it. She just sat and I could see her little eyes, in the rearview mirror, like, okay.
Do you still love that chocolate ice cream?
I have not had one of those.
You have to go to Dairy Queen and
years.
get one.
Oh, yeah.
Treat yourself.
I don't know. Maybe it's like trauma. No, that's probably not
Yeah.
trauma. But yeah, I know I haven't had that. And I love their blizzards.
Right.
I love the blizzard test when they turn it upside down and you see that it passes the blizzard test with the spoon still stuck in it. But yeah,
right.
Haven't had one of those.
I mean, all of us are pretty much strict with our nutrition, all 3 of us here.
Sure.
But if I was able to eat something, or you were able to do something, your favorite junk food, but it wouldn't put any calories, it wouldn't have a detrimental effect on your body.
Please.
What would it be?
Oh, key lime pie.
Key lime pie?
Or coconut cream. I make the best coconut cream pie.
So you need to come back. There's already a second edition. Just
Can
for
you
that
come
alone.
back? Please come back with the coconut cream
Yes,
pie.
yes,
That
yes.
is my favorite.
I've actually brought it to friends' kids for their birthday party cake. They want coconut cream pie as their
Me
cake.
too.
Oh, it's
I'm a
so
pie
good.
person, not a cake person. So
Excellent baker right here, too.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I
We're
love
gonna
to
have
bake, but I never did a coconut cream pie because my family doesn't like coconut, and
Oh.
I've
do.
never
Are they
done.
really your family? I mean,
I don't
because
think so.
Yeah, I don't know
No,
if you're
I'm
related.
leaving. No, they're not.
Anytime I come home from stuff from Joyce
Yeah.
with stuff from Joyce, my wife goes, I hate her. I love her. I hate her. I love her. You know the devil
Yes.
angel from the cartoons?
Oh yeah. Well,
But-
she
Yeah.
bakes probably some.
I do like. I
spectacular
do.
things.
I like to bake, but the things I like to bake, like I said, no one else really likes. I like things with nuts in it and coconut and chunks of chocolate
Me too.
and caramel.
Me
I mean, all of
Kitchen
that.
sink cookies.
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
So
Oh,
that's
okay.
what's good.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. Where's the caterer? Okay.
So now that we had Dr. B here, and you mentioned that your TED Talk,
Yeah.
but I want to tell you, everyone who's listening,
Mm.
you must go to Dr. Bridget Cooper. Just Google that on
Yeah. Yeah, you can go to my website. There's
yeah,
a link, I think.
because that it will change your life. It changed my life.
You're sweet.
I watched it twice. Let me just say this: it's a little tough to watch.
Just a little. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We actually discussed as an organization, because each TEDx talk is independently run and it's a volunteer organization through the TED organization. And I actually asked, should we do a trauma warning? Like, should we do some sort of a trigger warning label on it? And they said no. And I said, okay. I think that, I think a lot of people need that before they head into that.
But you're such an inspiration, which is why you're on What's Good, because it does have a What's Good ending. But the first time you were beaten, and this is by your father, and I hold your mother, of course, responsible too. You were 8 weeks old.
Yeah, absolutely. It was actually the moment, and you and I were talking off camera before this, that what you don't know when you watch the TED Talk is that I actually froze at about the 3-minute mark when someone gasped, because what I did was I set it up as a speaker does. And I said, the first time my father beat me, I was 8 weeks old, and someone gasped in the audience. And I froze. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I've hurt someone with my story. I wasn't prepared for. I was prepared for the weepy eyes. I was prepared for all of that. So I didn't look at any faces in the audience of like 400 people. Like I was very well prepared. I was not prepared for that. And I froze for 27 seconds, finally walked off stage because I didn't have any more words and had to remind myself of where I was in the story. But that moment was that's one of the hit in the solar plexus kind of moments.
I'll tell you, Doc, when I heard 8 weeks and also being violated.
Yeah,
Not
sure.
just being beaten. I mean,
Right.
It
was horrific.
Your daughter at 8 weeks.
Right.
Here,
I cried.
You at 6 years old. You at 15 years old.
Right.
It was ongoing.
Sure. And I think that's what happens. I remember when I was in college and I was, reconciling my story and recognizing that I had some outlier experiences, and then I had a lot of things in common with some of my female peers, which is a heartbreaking reality, and even some of my male peers. But I recognized that because I had been groomed and victimized at such an early age, I had no sense of myself and my own self-protection because none of that tracked. So I was in situations, not only because of a lot of other familial and kind of other structure situations, but I was really just unaware of any way of protecting myself because I'd never learned, right? I mean, that had just been part of what I was drawn to. I was just a moth to a flame. So those future violations were, I think predators can sniff out prey, and I think I gave off all of those senses early on.
And at that young age, too, there's no frame of reference.
Right.
Did you think that this was like something that was just indigenous to you, or was something that maybe was happening in other families? How do you process that?
I just saw myself as marked. I saw myself as flawed. I saw myself as this is my life.
You had no one protecting you.
No, not really. I think my mom did some things later on in an attempt to do so, but I think she was so consumed by her own demons that I think she found it very hard to step in and protect. Even when I would tell her things and share things with her, I think she had a hard time imagining creating a different circumstance for us.
And she would actually send you back.
Yeah.
She was divorced at the time?
She got divorced. She left my dad, actually had my dad extracted from the house because he was a drug user and dealer, and had him arrested, and he went to jail, and we were able to kind of escape a bit. But then she sent me back there for sleepaway visits, and
which
then
that shocked me also.
Yeah.
That knowing she was sending you back to the abuser.
You would think the maternal instinct would just,
to protect you.
To protect.
No, I mean, even later on, and I remember telling a friend of mine this, and they were like, wait a second, I didn't know that was part of the story. My dad had actually, my stepmother had died, and some of those experiences are in Little Landslides, which is my story of how she died. But she died, and he came to stay with us, and I was 8, and my parents reconciled for 2 months. And he was back in the house. He was doing drugs. He was, doing whatever. And I think if you're in the frame of mind that my mom was in, of being, she was abused. I mean, he'd been beating her until I came along, and then he beat us both, right? I think the idea of going back to that doesn't seem all that foreign. Of exposing your child to that might not just seem like something you would fight.
Was it kind of like the devil you know?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think my mom died 12 years ago now, and she ended her life. And I think that tortured existence is just, I think when you are along for the ride of that, I think that's what's going to happen.
I am so fortunate that you're here and you're inspiring others, because I work with many, many women who have similar stories in a sense, like with abuse. And as a hypnotherapist, they really want to forget. But sometimes you must confront.
Yeah.
And you did that.
I did.
And then you got to that other side of forgiveness.
Yeah.
And some of the women that I've worked with, they refuse to go there, and they have ongoing health issues that I know that the cause of that is because it's the anger that eats away.
It manifests right on the body.
It does.
It affects the whole immune system.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I came to recognize, when I look at the whole trajectory of my life, there have been so many beautiful moments, right? So much. One of my favorite movies, Collateral Beauty.
Oh,
There's been so much collateral beauty, even in the hardest moments, right? Even in the darkest of days, there's been something. And I know that I wrestled so hard with this idea of forgiveness. And it was because it was weaponized. Early on, it was used as leverage to get me back in a relationship with people who are going to continue to do me harm. And so what I had to put in its place was rage. I had to have rage against them, because if I ever gave them forgiveness, I was just going to put myself back on the chopping block, right? So it created a safe distance, because no one's going to come near someone who's raging at them, right? But it didn't do me any good. It was toxic to me. I was consuming the poison instead of ridding myself of it, right? And I think there was a transformational moment for me. Then I worked at it. I saw a therapist. I did all the things I thought I was supposed to do to clear this energy out of my world. But it wasn't until I was watching this movie, actually reading the book, and then the movie came out, The Shack.
Oh, yes.
Sure. I love that movie.
And I know a lot of people took a lot of different spiritual, emotional, psychological lessons from it. But the one that punched me right in the face was when the author talked about the 2 parts of forgiveness. And the first part is the severing of the emotional tie that keeps you bound to the moment that any of this happened. And let me tell you, in order to keep rage alive in me, I had to keep replaying that moment, those moments over and over and over.
It was like
again.
a movie on a loop.
Yes.
Over and
so
over
that
again.
I
Like Groundhog Day.
Yes. So that I could be angry about what had happened, so that I wouldn't risk getting emotionally close and tied, right? And it was severing that emotional connection. What would I be left with if I broke that connection? If I stopped validating how hard and awful that was, where would I be? And it was the author saying that second part, which was then deciding how much proximity anyone could have to me. Oh,
That was
wait.
a light bulb moment.
It was like, oh, right. So I can put boundaries in the place that rage held.
Mm-hmm.
I can say, I understand where you were, and I cannot go back and change an unchangeable past. But what I can do is stop reliving it over and over again. Now that at that point, the people who had done me harm were dead, and I was still carrying it around. And I thought, if I can break this tie and then decide that they cannot have proximity to me, then I get the best of both worlds.
That's freedom.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so my clients have actually, they nicknamed this version of forgiveness, Borgiveness, because it's B's version of forgiveness. And I'm like, cool, I'll take credit for it. It's not mine. But that's what the freedom was this idea that the more that I regurgitated the story, the more that I told the story and had it stand in the place of almost like, well, I'm the way I am because I'm this way because, right? That was just carrying forward their pain in my life. And that was unforgivable.
Almost like you're a surrogate.
Yeah, right. Like, hey, by the way, hand it over to me. And I remember being in this huge workshop with a couple hundred women, and someone asked me, how did you move forward? And I was like, why would I not? Like, why would I have, like, they stole all those moments from me through their own pain journey. If I continue to carry that forward, aren't I doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Right? And who am I going to hurt along the way? Lord knows I did hurt countless people with my own pain, whether by shutting them out or inviting them in or overwhelming them or what have you. I tried to minimize the shrapnel, but there's shrapnel in a bunch.
So almost like you were saying, like, this stops here.
Yeah.
It's a new day.
Yeah.
So you became liberated at that moment after you read the check.
Yeah, it wasn't like in a moment, because I think I'd been on the journey for a while trying to figure out how do I stand in this place of being unattached to the pain without losing the grief I had for what I'd experienced, right? Because that's part of it. Like I worked in an organization, did a lot of volunteer work for girls who'd been sex trafficked and then became justice involved. And one of the things that I said to them was, rage is the most beautiful emotion. Not what you do with it, but the fact that you feel it. Because the fact when you feel rage, you're saying, I deserved better. And letting go of that rage was very scary for me, because was I stopping saying that I deserved better? No. I had to evolve past it to be able to say, oh, I'm going to do something with this experience.
There you go.
And that's going to be what stands in its place.
Now, when you first discovered that rage and you were able to deal, how did you respond?
It's terrifying.
I mean, did you like throw things up against the wall? Did you scream and holler?
And it came in bursts, right? I think my 3 suicide attempts were internalized rage.
3 suicide attempts.
Yeah. And that was the internalized rage. That was the, I have no place to put it, so it's going to go here, right? There were screaming matches. There was all of that, right? There was the just, that soul level scream. But I mean, I think it went out, it went in.
It sounds like you got crawled over glass to get to certain points, like with the rage, especially with the suicide attempts. That is your inners crying out.
Yeah.
100%.
Like I'm done.
Yes.
Like I'm done. I can't think of any other way to do this.
But look at you today. Look at you helping so many people.
Thank you.
Without that story. Because
but here's the thing. I remember sitting in I finally went to therapy on my own, not being court ordered or, mandated, after some of the things. But I went in on my own and I said, again, this ends here. That I was 18. I'd broken contact with my dad, as you know, from the TED Talk and from my book. And I went into this therapist's office and I was like, help me. Like, I don't know how to put myself back together, but I need to deconstruct this and put this back together. And I remember saying to her, I am so glad this happened. And she's like, what do you mean? No, absolutely. Like, back it up.
Right.
Like, that is not an okay response to this. And I said, no, but I am, because I'm going to use this to help other people. Like, I am going to do something with this, because there isn't another reasonable choice.
Yes.
Like, if I have gone through this, it had to be for a reason, because it sure as heck wasn't this. It wasn't just to get here. You know, there's something beyond this. And that fire in my belly is what carried me through. I think when you talk about crawling across glass, which I think a lot of us can relate to, we all have those stories, whether it looks like mine or not. We've all had our pain journeys. We've all had our moments of being what a girlfriend of mine and I used to call being on the mat, where we're just like, enough.
Somebody told me a long time ago, Joyce and Dr. B, that the road to success goes for the dump.
Yeah.
For
Exactly.
everybody. And
Right.
and if you peel back the layers, Joyce and I talk about this all the time, everybody's growing through something. I don't say going, but growing
Yes.
through something.
Love that.
And
Yeah.
it's made us the people we are today. So sometimes it's allowed by God or the universe, whatever you decide to say, I say God, to use you as an inspiration, which obviously he's done with you. He's done that with Joyce with her journey.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, all of our journeys,
Sure.
right? I mean, I think when we are standing beyond whatever that moment is, we can look back and help people across that, through that fire. If we haven't been through it, it's harder, right? Even if it doesn't have to be identical fires, but just the experience of fire.
It's like you could say, I know what you're going through. I've been there.
Right.
And there is a bright side at the end. With loss, you
Mm-hmm.
know that, or whatever it may be. And
There's
hey, I've
hope.
been there. I can relate to that.
I think it's someone like Joyce Meyer. You know,
yes.
that,
She's amazing.
I mean, she has a similar
Yep.
story, and look at the thousands of people she speaks to every week,
Right.
thousands,
Yeah.
and then millions
Right.
listening in, and it's because of that story. But it always amazes me that she can tell that story now, and you can tell that story now without really dragging you down and back into that.
Well, I know you being a certified hypnotist, and me
Yes.
too, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah. When I went into hypnosis to find, I mean, there were so many steps on the journey, because it's not just one thing. It's not like all of a sudden just miraculously. Some people have that miraculous, kind of turning point. Mine were a lot of pebbles in that road. One of them was writing my story, because I would, at that point, when I would go to a new therapist, I'd say, listen, if you want to charge me for 1-2 visits to read my book, go right ahead. I'm not telling the story again. I'm not doing it. I told it. I've retold it. I've told it 1,000,000 times. I'm not putting my body through that revisitation. Here, read the story, read the book, right? Come back to me when you have questions. When you want to talk to me about how does that relate to my life now, let's have at it. I am not going to tell you the brutal story. It's not going to happen, right? That was 1. 2 was hypnosis, which was bringing me back and severing the emotional, physiological response to the memory of that trauma. And they had to bring me back into it. They had to bring me into that regression space of remembering what it must have been like to be trying to crawl to safety. And in that,
What a visual, trying to crawl to safety.
right. And in that, like, I think that, and I could see it from outside of myself and see all of those contracts that we had with one another at like a soul level of doing this thing, having this moment. It was then that I could look at it and not feel the grief of it. I could just simply see the pathway of it. So that was life-changing.
Right.
So you were able to disconnect to a point.
Yeah.
At that point, because it's almost like you're looking at it like a movie. Like it's your life, but you've been able to emotionally kind of step back a little
Might
bit.
detach.
Detach.
Yeah.
Detach, yeah, exactly.
It's.
To a point.
I think
to a
it's
point.
a detach, but I think it's also, maybe you'll appreciate this verbiage. It's integration, right? It's like being able to see the quilt, like the whole, all the threads, all the imperfections, all the pieces, and not looking at just where the hole is or where the mar was or where the error was, but being able to see the whole thing all at once, because that's what we are.
Right.
Right.
And it's so freeing because I look at you and I just see nothing but joy. When I first met you the first time, you'd never know that you went through this because when we were introduced by a mutual friend, I saw nothing but joy.
Right.
The way you carry yourself and the way you help other people.
Yeah.
And when you're up on the stage or in front of people,
Yes.
you just really carry yourself so well.
Even during that TED Talk, that was heartbreaking, but it was also so uplifting.
It was.
I had the feeling that I could do anything at the end of that.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Yes.
That was what I wanted, right?
And then there's another talk you should look for, everyone, and that is your talk, the talk you gave about doing the TED Talk.
The talk about the talk, yeah.
Right.
The walking off the stage, the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm hoping I've applied to do another TED Talk about what drove me off the stage and what brought me back on, which is my understanding of how people get to where they are in life just based on brain development, right? And how you come to the moments you're in, the way that you're in them, and how you can shift that. Right. And that there's many lessons in that. But yeah, I think one of the things about joy that I've experienced is that the depth of pain often equates to the height of joy. It's not, it's like the bouncing ball. Like the harder you bounce that and the lower it goes and the harder it hits, the higher it can come back up.
You're in the abyss and then you're back up in the mountain there.
That's when you love people so deeply and then they're gone for whatever reason. You miss them. And then when you recognize you miss them so much because you loved so much.
Yes. The depth of the grief is the depth of the love.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so many people are afraid to love so deeply because they're afraid to get hurt. But I'd rather go out there and love deeply and be hurt.
Hurt me every time.
Like the velveteen rabbit, like at the end of your life, just tatter me, love me. And
tattered and torn, but loved, man. Loved.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to go out. Yeah. Yeah.
And to read your whole story, because I'm looking at your list of books, you wrote a lot of books. 8. And you have a new one coming out?
Yeah, I have the 8th out that came out last year. It was a very long story, but a tribute to my daughter's request that I write a book, and I call it The Book.
The Book.
Because she was punny. She was funny with puns at that time, and she kept at it relentlessly over all the books I wrote. Well, it's not the book. When are you going to write the book?
Yeah,
the book.
And so finally, for her college graduation, I surprised her with writing the book.
The book.
And it's all about how we misuse time and how we can use it better. And so I created these tools and have these tools that I use with the 4 pillars of being present, being intentional, being decisive, and being effective with our use of time. So,
it's another book I have to get.
Another book.
Yeah,
the book.
And of course, my favorite book so far is Unflappable.
Oh, yes. That was the book that I
love them all, but Unflappable is one I read for the first time.
So Unflappable and Little Landslides. Is that your memoir?
That's the memoir.
That's the memoir.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said,
so I wrote the book in May. I published it in April/May because that's when I made it public of 2025. Unflappable came out in October of 2023.
Okay.
And then before that, Pain Rebel was in June of 2020 during the pandemic. Yeah. Before that was Little Landslides, which is my story. And that's it. I wrote it from the first person, which if you think watching the TED Talk was hard, buckle up, Buttercup, because reading Little Landslides, I write it from the first person as a child.
Yeah.
And so all the stories.
What did you feel writing that?
Catharsis.
Okay.
You know, I sat down and most of those stories, most of those passages, I wrote within 10 or 15 minutes. I didn't think about them. It just
poured out of you.
Was it therapeutic?
It was so therapeutic because I was finally I was getting to put it on paper so I didn't have to say it anymore. Like, I don't have to tell that story ever again. I can just say, you know what, go to page 34. Like, I don't need to tell you that story. Oh, you read it? I'm so sorry. Like, yeah. And I have a trigger warning in that book to say, if you've had significant trauma or any trauma, frankly, not having, and let me just define trauma. We've all had bad things happen. And some of us have had lots of bad things happen, and that's trauma. When we really suffer from it, when it carries forward throughout our lives, is when we are missing, and this is what the data proves out, when we are missing a compassionate witness to the trauma. So when you don't have someone standing by you when you're going through the trauma and or when it's just happened to say, I see you, I feel that, I hear you, that was hard and you're going to get through this. That's when trauma, big T trauma, digs its talons into us, right? And I think that we don't appreciate sometimes is how we can help be for other people a compassionate witness.
Yes, yes.
You know, and I think that's, if we can all be called to something, it's to be that.
Like we always say, be kind to everyone because you never know what battle they're going through.
You never
and
know.
every single person is battling something.
Absolutely.
We are here to help each other.
Yes,
we really are.
Yeah.
That's what's good.
I did. Yeah, it is what's good. And I saw a dark post the other day, which was, people are always fighting a battle and you can't see it. Punch them. Then they're fighting two battles. You know? Kidding.
Good.
Right?
Very profound.
Yeah,
Very profound.
right. Now they're fighting two. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing
Oh, my
this with
goodness.
us.
Thank you for having me
Oh,
on
Dr.
here. I
Wow.
love what you're doing.
Thank you
here.
for being the inspiration you are to so many people.
Right back at
And
you.
I, for one, am glad that those attempts, those suicide attempts never worked out because you've
Wasn't
been here
meant to
for a
be.
reason.
It was
You know,
meant to be.
because it would have denied so many people your the amazing things you do in this world.
Yeah, yeah. And for those of you who are struggling in that space, and I've had friends family members who have taken those steps, hold on.
Yep,
Hold on.
Reach out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in, watching, listening to What's Good with John and Joyce, 30 minutes each and every week of uplifting stories like we just heard right here. And they're not just stories, they're the truth. And hopefully this has helped you. And if you're going through a real tough time right now, feel free to reach out to Dr. B, reach out to us, and we will get back to you. I promise you that. What's Good with John and Joyce? We'd like to thank all of our sponsors, everybody working behind the scenes, and most of all, you for tuning in. Till
We
next
love
time,
you.
God bless. Hey, I heard you got engaged. Congratulations. Now it's time to book the DJ. And that's where we come in. I'm John Cadillac Seville with John Seville Entertainment, Wedding Wire, and the Knot 2026 Couples Choice Awards winner. You can call me directly if you like at 203-988-0658. We'll set up your free consultation. Or go to johncaddyman.com. That's 203-988-0658 or johncaddyman.com. We offer excellence, peace of mind, and a great time for all. John Seville Entertainment, a name you know and can trust.